Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first game we've got prepared for you today. It's week 4, day 2. We're starting off with Fat Pikachu versus Universal Basic Income. I'm Spencer Ultravox Cameraman, joined by Anti, the fighting game genius of FOF. So, how you doing, Anti?
Fighting game genius, huh? That's definitely a new title. I mean, I wouldn't even consider myself the best fighting game player on RLS. That
Really?
being said, no, that would go to Kaori. She is better
Interesting.
Yes. That being said, we've got quite an interesting fight ahead of us here. Fat Pikachu, who, has not gotten a single win just yet. They did receive 2 wins after Rex dropped out of the tournament. Versus Universal Basic Income, who just received their 2nd loss in a row in 3 seasons.
Yeah, I saw Jeff post that statistic, and YUBI has not lost 2 back-to-back games since Season 3. That is insane. I cannot believe it. They are struggling in this Mythic season so far, slightly underperforming. I think they're having a lot of trouble finding their footing, and hopefully this is the game for them to restabilize.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into the FOF chat, right, into the server, there's some little jokes here and there about how, oh yeah, if we lose dragons or if we lose this game from the side of Fat Pikachu, then the whole roster's blowing up, people are getting fired, etc., etc. So this is, as far as they're concerned, their do or die moment. And the instant Maokai lock is a pretty interesting one. Universal Basic Income responds with the immediate Samira Nautilus. Now, I don't know how to feel about this, especially because 1, Maokai's not bad into Samira. 2, Samira Nautilus, while a strong lane, is essentially being picked blind because Maokai's a 3-way flex.
Very true, yeah. Maokai, B1 Maokai is a YUBI special strategy. That's one that they love using themselves, so big props to Fat Pikachu for kind of taking that, adapting it for their own usage, and applying it versus YUBI. I know that YUBI has been talking about Jeff and Brian not winning lane as hard as they should, and so maybe this is them trying to double down on that. They want to pick an absolutely dominating bot lane and just try to farm the enemies. That's what we're seeing right here with the Samira Nautilus. So there's still no clear matchup for them yet, as Graves and Azir are going to pick up for Doyon and Samdubu respectively.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too certain about how much Jeff ends up playing that Samira, but Ashes does have that Twisted Fate on deck, and Brian saying Nautilus always a main villain in my nightmares. Like, I cannot go to bed without one eye open if Brian Sang Nautilus is on the table, and the fact that it's coming out now shows that Universal Basic Income really wants to win this. Meanwhile, Fat Pikachu, they have a relatively flexible comp. They had 2 picks that were 3-way flexes, and I mean, they ended up removing one of the flex options by picking the Azir, so Graves can no longer go mid lane, but Graves top is still an option, Graves jungle is still an option, and Maokai is still relatively nebulous in this composition.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways they can go with this if they're truly comfortable playing those characters in any position. It's pretty cool to see. Not a lot of teams are able to draft like this, so big props there. I like the bans from YUBI that are coming out. Morgana's super good into Nautilus, just nullify his ultimate. Also incredibly good versus Twisted Fate, so nice read there, just in case they did want to send the Maokai top, maintain that formation. Utility, selecting the Kha'Zix. These guys lock it in pretty fast, too. This is clearly something
boy. Yeah, now, very interesting thing to note. So it's not actually Ashes of Dreams playing, it is Civillock. And Civillock has been spamming the hell out of the Twisted Fate. So this seems like it's comfort on comfort on comfort. So that Maokai is going to end up going into the top lane. YUBI ended up banning away the Pantheon from the side of Fat Pikachu. When you got a Pantheon 1-trick, a Kayn 1-trick, and an Orianna 1-trick on one team, it's a little bit easy to ban it straight out. But Fat Pikachu are left with a relatively solid composition, a good front-to-back composition, as long as Maokai can survive as long as possible. But YUBI don't necessarily have the greatest tank killing, but they do have quite a lot of single-target lockdown.
For sure, yeah. I think that both compositions have insane pick potential. You got to be looking at Ash for Fat Pikachu, just TF, Nautilus for YUBI over there. It's gonna be a slugfest. I'm really hyped up to see this one. Let's go ahead and get onto the rift and see how this one starts out. All right, we will be hopping in. Here we go on the rift now. FP versus YUBI, and they will be all sprinting down bot side. Yeah, I do. I also have noticed that Civillock has been playing a tremendous amount of Twisted Fate. I think they have a lot of faith in this character. They want to be able to, use their coordination, because YUBI has a history of just being one of the most coordinated teams. So I really like this pick for their style of gameplay.
All right, and speaking of picks, right now they're just looking to get one. Level 1 already going to be scoped out by Blackpink. Might have trash in the name, but not going to be trashy with that control. Oh boy. I mean, honestly, right now the real question, right, is how exactly is it that both teams want to play this out? Because you see that there's Flash cleanse on both of these AD carries, Flash on both of these top laners. Honestly, I think I could see Mundo taking the Ghost. I would expect, of the top laners in the league, right, Red seems to be one of those top laners who would be most happy to do something kind of experimental yet Lolalytics approved, like the Ghost start. But for the second game in a row, the enemy team facing YUBI has vision onto the red buff, and YUBI don't really have any real answers to it. Yeah, they've
fully scoped out Utility Monster. As somebody who was playing the last time this happened, it didn't go too good, did it?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly too great, but this time Utility Monster is going to just go for a standard farm route. I believe the last time I ended up seeing Utility Monster go blue-red into Krugs, and Utility Monster, even on that single target champion Kha'Zix, really does like to get those Krugs down really early. It's an interesting quirk of that jungle pathing. I don't think it's bad or good by any means. It's a very stylistic choice.
Yeah, I think Utility definitely favors full clears just as a jungler. He's one of those guys that just wants to keep on getting all the money he can, farm the camps on rotation. Of course, you got to set those Krugs up to respawn early. Otherwise, they're just stuck at level 1 for the remainder of the game. And now, oh, look at that.
Oh!
Landed in there. Nice little bit of damage. Not kill quite yet. Brian saying holding on to the Ignite. Knows he could probably get it on the second one. Let's take a look at where Doyon is, though. Also, seems to be full clearing. Going to be doing a lot faster so far than Utility. Already on the Raptors, moving down towards the red. Maybe going to be able to impact his bot lane, given how far Brian and Jeff are pushed up.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to note, though, is that Utility Monster was clearing the entirety of topside while on Vision. Doyon wasn't on Vision until the Raptor camp, where, Civillock was able to push up, get that Warden, get some information, as much needed information for YUBI, but for so long they were playing basically in the dark, not sure if Doyon's walking into their jungle, or if Doyon's just going for a full clear. And I like that YUBI, even despite not having that information, still seems to be playing just as comfortably.
Yeah, they are playing very confidently here. I think that they'd want to get this wave crashed and bounce back. You can't do a whole lot with Nautilus if the wave is just sitting in front of the enemy's turret. So seems like they might be mismanaging it a little bit. I'd really like to see them let it push back out so they can try to run down Blackpink, Trash, and Reen. But it will be difficult with the way they're playing this currently.
Yeah, and you can see those caution pings onto exactly where Kha'Zix is and where Kha'Zix is intending to be. So as you can see, Fat Pikachu have a pretty good idea of where it is the Utility Monster is and where it is that he wants to play towards. So right now, honestly, the biggest question I've had with Fat Pikachu is, yes, your players themselves, not bad players by any means. How is the cohesiveness? How are the comms? How exactly is it that you work towards your win conditions? And this is a good sign.
Yeah. Right now, Fat Pikachu is totally good to sit back and scale up. They've got the Azir, they've got the team fighting down. They just need to get there and not crumble to the early TF macro plays, to this bot lane pressure that is actually seeming pretty non-existent. It's relatively even CS down here with such an early game power differential between these two lanes. It's kind of surprising, actually.
Yeah, I mean, right now, one thing we'll also note, right? So Civillock has been taking a lot of damage in these trades in the mid lane. Sundubu has been able to get off a lot of damage with the Azir. I mean, that's honestly one of Azir's greatest strengths, especially with the Aerie, with the Scorch. That being said, despite being on a champion whose entire kit is designed to, lose CS but stay even, with those roams, Civlock's been able to build up a CS lead.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think that the TF is definitely able to stand up in these trades early on, as long as the Qs are landing. It's not really until Azir starts getting a little bit more money, a little bit more levels, that it'll be a lot harder, just because, TF has to CS with auto attacks when he can. I think they changed the breakpoint too, so with Mythic and Boots, and I believe a Fiendish Codex, you can clear the casters with 1 Q, but I'm not sure. Somebody's got to check my math on that one. I think I saw them talking about that before. But yeah, he's still got to get up in there, still got to get some harass down from the soldiers. Makes it a little harder, but yeah, ultimately, just got to get to level 6. He's 6 now, taking it back, or he was channeling the back. He's still there now. No teleport. He's got the ghost. He's probably, hopefully, preparing to run somebody down in a side lane.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's a relatively even game state, right? Nothing too big is going on. Stormblast losing a little bit in CS to Red. Red does have one of the highest average CS differentials at 15 minutes, so that's honestly not too unheard of. But right now, you still got a really big trade here. Hold on.
Yeah, they're all going in. Jeff, he's exhausted now. Doyon sliding on in there, shooting him in the face with the shotgun. They will just turn onto Brian Sang instead. 1 HP is the first blood that goes over to Blackpink Trash. Doyon sliding forward again. One more auto attack will do it, but it's not quite there. He's reloading. Beautiful first blood. Great gank from Doyon. Oh, they're going to face check.
Utility monster in the wings here.
Rini, just getting obliterated by the Kha'Zix. Utility, he's found the kill. Now he's got to get out of there. Will have to flash over the wall. Nothing left to follow. Nice little pickup there. Will cost the flash, though.
Yeah, I mean, one question here, right? How worth it really is that? Because now the enemy team knows exactly where you are. Yes, you did get the return kill. What exactly do you get off of that? Do you have Ultimate Hunter? Do you have, Treasure Hunter going on here? I don't really know what exactly it is that utility monster is running at the moment. So maybe that flash trade is worth, right? Maybe it's not.
I think that it's worth, because he's able to get 300 more gold in the pocket. He's got the Dirk with the longsword moving towards that mythic item. The faster
that's true.
The faster he can accelerate this game, which is what YUBI needs to do. That's how they're going to win this. They don't have scale, and they have to move faster.
Yeah, speaking of moving quickly, Stormblast is moving quickly towards... Actually, never mind. I was going to say moving quickly towards sending Red back to the fountain. But with Utility Monster in the wings, with Civlock having a Destiny's Gate open, it's going to be really hard to see whether or not the Maokai has a kill window here.
Yeah. I think this just speaks to Maokai's potential as a champion here. Just found a lot of success. Red is, building that CS lead like you said, but Stormblast keeping up in the lane, one where I would assume that Mundo just gets to bully around a lot. So some nice staying power there, thanks to the champion. I do have a question for you, Anti. What minute will the first TF ultimate occur? What do you think?
What minute?
Yeah, any bets?
I'm gonna go with 12.
Hold that thought. Oh! Utility's getting swept backwards. Sundubu, he's chasing after him. Will hop right on in, and he gets a nice chunk of damage in his face. Brian in the bot side now, hitting Rena here. And Jeff can't quite get too much off that. Some trading back and forth. That was really ballsy from Sundubu, though. Oh, man. Big respect to go for that.
I mean, it was quite the option. Oh, my God. Brian Sang.
Depth charge as well. Jeff got gamer. He can't finish it off. He's stunned up into the turret. The cleanse is way too slow. And it's a kill going over to the bot lane of Fat Pikachu. Well played from Blackpink and Rini.
Yeah, and it was looking so good. Brian Sang with that hook, as reliable as always, but Jeff stepping up a little bit too closely, gets nabbed by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, gets nabbed by the Lulu Polymorph, and just can't cleanse in time in order to survive. Meanwhile, Red, back in lane, has items, has the ability to just run down Stormblast, and it might not have been 12, but here it is.
It was almost 10. You're kind of close. Blackpink goes down. 2 kills over to YUBI as they interrupt this dragon take. The dragon still does go over to Fat Pikachu, but those 2 kills are going to be feeling real nice for the cat worshippers.
And one thing to note about YUBI, right? You know, their macro is one of their greatest strengths, right? So while in lane they might not necessarily get ahead, they might not necessarily, you know, come out with a gold lead. When it gets to the side laning portion of the game is when this team really starts to shine. When it comes to side laning, when it comes to team fighting, and Sibylock on Twisted Fate should be able to side lane incredibly effectively.
Yeah, I'd love to see that when we get there, but Jeff God Gamer is in a little bit of trouble here. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands, and the collateral damage does too. Dorian shoots him straight in the face. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, collateral damage, nothing behind Jeff to take any extra damage because that is hitting straight on. Dear Lord, you know, no cleanse, no vision. You got to be really careful about walking up like that. Sundubu, on the other hand, Fancy Feet does not need to walk any further back.
So good. It seems like Fat Pikachu is starting to get the better of YUBI in some of these fights here. Game's still looking pretty even. It's about a 1k gold difference in favor of YUBI, but First Dragon has gone over to Fat Pikachu. It's looking like it is even, and therefore it favors Fat Pikachu. I think that YUBI needs to have a stronger lead. They're going to need to be way further ahead. Maybe they're going to find something else right here, though. Blackpink trying to walk away. Death charge in on Nareen. Here goes Jeff sliding in. Gets another Q off. He's polymorphed. He can't really follow it up, and it will be no kill at the end. Pops the Inferno trigger on the minions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to pop that Inferno trigger. You've got no mana cost on that ultimate. Just going to clear the wave as quickly as possible. Brian saying, still looking for those hooks. Like I said, you know, nightmare fuel incarnate. Either way, Stormblast now the one on the back foot as far as this top lane matchup is concerned. Meanwhile, on bot lane, we're just picking up more and more of those plates, despite Jeff dying twice, despite Brian dying once. You still see YUBI bot lane coming ahead as far as this tower pressure goes.
Yeah, Doyan gets spotted out here too, so not going to be able to really find anything onto Jeff and Brian. They're very close to 5-plating that turret, though, and that is a huge amount of money potentially going over to Jeff. Not to mention, Herald in the mid right here. Make sure YUBI is collecting the plates, putting them straight into their wallets, and putting them to good use, hopefully, as these next fights occur. We got 2 minutes until Dragon. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will note, right, is that back in Season 4, when RLS was playing in Heroic, it was actually Red, who at the time was on BBZ, who told us about, you know, how to make use of Ziggs for maximum cash money. Where, oh, hold on, speaking of which.
Yeah, Sibylock under pressure here. He's got the gold card. He's trying to run out of there with the Ghost. Able to shmove his way on out. Cost him the Summoner spell, but that's actually not too bad. Sundubu, great Shurima shuffle, but he could not find the kill.
Yeah, I mean, getting a Summoner spell and trading that to save your life, I mean, I think that's a good investment right there. You know, a solid amount of cash money on that return. But, you know, as I was saying, right, you know, so Red was teaching us about how, you know, if you take Ziggs, you take that bottom tower, you rotate up top lane, you get the Herald, you take top tower as well, right? You know, you get a hell of a lot of money. And Red now on YUBI is with a bunch of other people who also have very strong, you know, opinions on how to play the game, how to make use of this money as well as possible. And you can see that YUBI, despite being 3-3, are up 4,000 gold.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot in those plates, a lot in that CS differential. Hook from Brian, not able to find Sundubu right there, but does mean that the Azir will be down a flash, especially as Dragon is coming up in just 30 seconds here. They've already got the bot lane priority secured for YUBI. Tension over mid will continue, but now Sundubu just a little bit more vulnerable.
Yeah, and meanwhile on the top lane, that CS difference has started to amount to something very, very important, where Red is sitting on the fully completed Sunfire Aegis. Meanwhile, Stormblast still waiting for a little bit more gold, a little bit more time in order to get to that point. And that, you know, what, 40, 50 CS diff at this point, it really does amount to quite a bit as far as this laning phase is concerned.
Yeah, Red's at 10 CS per minute. He's doing incredible. He has a bounty. He had a bounty just now, solely from farming.
Oh.
Now Brian, he's finally able to find it. Sweep backwards. Sandubu stays alive through all of this somehow. It's uncanny. Able to evade the gank, stay alive. Probably going to be difficult to fight for this. He's got the TP though, can just back and rejoin his team if they do want to contest this dragon here.
Man's name is Sundu, basically straight up a sponge dubu, like just picking up so much pressure, soaking it all, and not giving up a single kill for it, right? 15 minutes into the game, ganks like what, 4, 5 times? Hasn't died a single time.
Yeah, very impressive there. Managing to be resilient to survive these. Still going to be tough for Fat Pikachu, though. They can't really CC down Red. Little try with Brambles here. Doyon is here. Gets the Q damage off, trying to chase him down with a red buff. Flash forward. Collateral damage, not able to finish him off, but Maokai's Twisted Advance will follow Red towards his turret. Flash in from Doyon with one more auto attack. Does it. They're able to take down the menace in the top lane, who's still maintaining that 10 CS per minute.
Yeah, I mean, one other thing to note, I do believe that was actually a shutdown announcement from the side of Red going down there. Man, that 10 CS a minute really does line your coffers quite well.
Truly.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of scared that they weren't going to be able to get the kill for a bit because, you know, you don't have the healing reduction, and we all know just how much Mundo can heal up. One thing I will note about Red on the Mundo, though, Red very rarely plays Mundo. Red told me when we were playing together in the Captain's Draft matches that the only time he picks Mundo is when he's absolutely 100% certain that it's the game-winning pick.
Yeah, actually, I think I remember him saying something about that. Like, he has an 100% win rate on Mundo, right? Or something like that?
Something crazy like that.
Yeah, Jeff. Brian trying to find a tussle here with Stormbless. We'll get knocked out of the Inferno trigger. They don't have enough damage yet. Jeff.
The utility monster just kind of driving by, saying hello.
Waves at him with his big old bug claws. Yeah, Jeff doesn't have any armor pen yet. Might end up needing to get it, but he's moving towards the collector. Still good to damage everybody else, but you're going to have a tough time chopping down the tree.
Yeah, I mean, while armor pen is going to be pretty good, right? It's a real question of how much you really need it, right? Because Samira, even with a full armor pen, I'm not too sure just how much he's going to really be able to take down this Maokai. Whole team, on the other hand.
Yeah, stun up, but Jeff and Brian were rooted pretty far outside the range of play. Here's the depth charge, and there's another gold card. He gets hooked in, blasted. Jeff's under the turret, and it will be a good kill. They finally managed to take him down. 4 members required with utility being up there, but now they've got the Herald, and now they're ready for a huge push. Enchanted Crystal Arrow super late. Now it's not going to be available for Blackpink Trash if it so arises. Herald pop, though. The second turret is under siege.
Yeah, I mean, last few games, we might have been seeing a little bit of experimentation from YUBI, trying out a few new things. You know, this is how we got to this situation. But right now, YUBI is playing full on comfort, and dear Lord, do we remember just why this was one of the biggest teams to fear.
Absolutely, yeah. They are performing well to their names. You know, the coordinated team, the cool team, they're finding these overmanned fights that they're getting advantaged in, and finding leads because of those, just whether it be Brian roaming mid, pushing Sandubu back, or this gank we just saw on top side. Yubi's playing very, very well as a team. Ooh,
oh my god,
was so close.
Yeah, and you just have to wonder, on the side of Fat Pikachu, right? You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, well, you know, they've got a few towers. They got like a dragon or two. But it's 4-4. It should be equal. It should be even. It should be fine.
No way,
as far
dude.
as we're concerned, we shouldn't feel like we're this far behind. But then you look at the gold graphs, you know, you can't see that when you're inside the game, but when you are all-knowing like us casters, You do get to note that despite it being 4-4, that is a 5k gold differential and is not something that's easy to play into, despite it being so even in kills.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about before. YUBI needs to maintain this. I think they're on a good track. If they start losing their lead here, things could get a lot more difficult for them, but they need to continue snowballing out this game. They know that they're strong. They have to keep finding these fights that they know they can win. Dragon is going to be the next one that they're going to look for. I don't even know if there's going to be any contention, but Pink taking a terrible pathing. Oh my god, pays the price for it right there. Dragon now uncontestable, as Red's just going to keep on beating down this top lane.
Yeah, I mean, you see it, the Destiny's Gate open to see whether or not they can pick up anything extra in that bot lane. And Brian Sang with another beautiful hook, just going to continue this reign of terror.
It's so good. You cannot dodge the anchor that's flying at your face. Brian Sang making these plays happen. He's got a large amount of KP, making sure that
he got that even shroud.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, you know. You make your teammates deal more damage. You know, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty dang good, especially when you're playing Nautilus, as reliably as someone like Brian Sang, right? You're always going to be able to apply that passive as long as you land a hook. And man needs to learn how to miss first, I guess.
Yeah, Sundubu was teaching him. He was teaching him. But yeah, Fat Pikachu starting to fall further behind here. They're 2 dragons down, weren't able to contest that one, still went down a kill with Doyon hovering around the bot side. I feel like you just need to, you know, start cutting your losses early, support your top laner, find a way to push that out, and then start collecting waves across the map. They've got to manage to hang in here. They can't keep getting picked off.
Yeah, one thing I will note, Sundubu is only now finally backing, has been sitting on these double daggers for such a long time. Still looking to find some time to back. Because, you know, Sundubu, you know, might not have any kills, might not have any KP, but definitely not only sitting on this small amount of gold. It's a real question as to how much gold Sundubu really is sitting on, how close we are to that Nashor's Tooth, and Jeff God Gamer's not going to be hanging around that tower for too much longer.
Could have been bad if it was just about anybody else besides Rini there to support Stormbless, but it's going right back in, doing it again. Trying to clear this wave out, protect the turret. It will be going down, though. We'll be trying to walk away from this. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, but it's wind walled away. Great reactions from Jeff. He's trying to slide on out, and he flashes over the wall. Tries to stay alive. Collateral damage does not finish him off, but Stormbless is chasing him down. Meanwhile, Brian Sang, the auto attacks from Ashe, they're slowing him down. They decide to call it off, though. They want to chase towards Jeff. Brian survives. FP cannot get anything.
Yeah, and that was looking so good for so long for Fat Pikachu, and then just slips right out of their hands as Red just gonna continue to knock down this bot lane tower. And the fact that they're just putting in so many people for Red means that this Baron is going to be so easy.
Yeah. Baron, certainly on the menu. The take isn't that fast, but it doesn't even matter. Support's down. Red's pressuring the bot side. He does have the teleport available to join. And look, they've got 4 members down here to contest him. This is not what you want to see. They can't even reliably lock him down either. He's got the CC immunity. Twisted Advance not going to be doing a whole lot the entire time. YUBI striking at Baron, taking it down, collecting their prize. And now, what else are they going to be able to get with it?
I mean, right now, I think you just kind of look for the reset. You know, Brian Sang sitting on quite a bit of gold. I do believe that should turn into the Zeke's Herald sooner or later. But it's a real big question, right? What exactly do you have to do on the side of Team Fat Pikachu, right? If you want to try to find your way back into this game, like, you have a great pick comp. You know, you could go for these picks, but time and time again, it's been so hard to make these picks really mean anything. Because anytime someone's in a position to be pickable, YUBI's on the other side of the map, just taking your entire kitchen sink. I know you've thrown it all at them, but they're taking that one straight to the bank.
Yeah, it's really hard to find the fight that Fat Pikachu wants. I think what they need to look for is a fight where Blackpink and Sundubu are on the same screen, and so Stormblessed. They just got to be able to group up. Stormblessed is going in, get some CC out, able to slide away. Just a little bit tense here as the cannon minion fires away. YUBI maintaining the siege, poking out the members of Fat Pikachu whenever they have the opportunity. Cleavers to the face, do a lot of damage. Utility monster screening for everybody else. They're able to very comfortably maintain this push as they wait for the potentially third Drake, potentially a soul point to come up. But Utility's rooted out. A lot of damage. Goes Golden. Brian and the gang are here to back him up. Enchanted Crystal Arrow blocked once again. There's the Emperor's Divide, pushing them all away. But Red has found his way over the wall onto the backside.
Oh my god.
There too. Inferno triggers popped, and he's popping off for sure. Sundubu stunned up. It's a triple kill for Jeff, followed by a double for Red, and that looks like it could be the game.
And just like that, Utility Monster walks up, seemingly taking the bait, but in the end, the true master of baiting going to be able, with that stopwatch, to bait the entirety of Fat Pikachu into overextending there. Red's backing, going to look to TP onto a minion to keep everyone alive for as long as possible. Utility Monster eventually ending up dying. Civil Lock ending up dying. Oh my god.
This is a disaster now. They can't finish out the game. They don't have the guys to do it. Red's just emoting. They're going to try to just 3v5 kill the rest of the team. Jeff's kiting it out. Blackpink has to lock him down. Inferno trigger. It's he finds one. He finds three. Doyon's the last person left alive. Jeff and Red put the game on their backs. They're taking it home. They are not letting this one slip away. This is exactly it. Here's the replay.
Yeah, I mean, first off, we start things off with a Dignitas. You know, just gonna throw two lives straight into the ether. Nobody gets to pick up those kills. Jeff God Gamer picking up the S rank, picking up those kills, picking up the crits, and picking up the win here.
I guess.
Just like that, YUBI, in true YUBI fashion, regardless of how uneventful the laning phase might have been, are the inevitable winners in the end.
That is insane. What a fight there. They blew open the entire game and then like basically 3v5. That's why you build Collector, I guess. Jeff knew what he was doing the entire time, man. No armor pen required.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to be getting tanky outside of that Maokai. And I'm pretty sure when you've got your entire team, you know, all bulked up like that, you don't really need the AD carry to be the one to take down that Maokai. But in the end, YUBI once again on top, breaking that losing streak, showing us exactly why we need to fear them.
Here, real fast, can we check Red CS on the scoreboard here? Is that possible?
Yes, is
the arrow
gold
sword at the top.
Yeah,
one of those.
Towards the right. No.
Yeah, that one.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. 273 CS.
That is more than 10.
Over 10 CS per minute, dude. I am so proud of this man. He's been doubting, but man, he pulled through this game. Oh man, big props to YUBI. They pulled it together. Very well played. We're gonna have an interview after this. I think we have interviews today. So let's see who it's gonna be. We'll move right on into that. It's Jeff.
All right, folks, welcome back. Our first interview of the day. I am joined this time by Jeff God Gamer, victorious yet again, finally, for Universal Basic Income. Jeff, how are you feeling after the game?
Not too bad. It always feels good to get one of those wins where we just feel like we're in control the entire time. There's a couple mistakes we made, but overall it's definitely a good mood booster after our last couple of games haven't really gone our way.
Let's start right there, because to highlight what a big win this was for you, such a resounding, you folks popped off at a certain point in the game. It was just a hard won at a certain point. But in yesterday's game, we were talking in the green room about your game against SLR. Could you give us some context on what was going on with that game, since you ended up losing it?
Yeah, so I think SLR did something that no other team in FF has done. They've actually thought about level 1s, and they brutally mind read our level 1, and it gave them a pretty strong advantage in the top lane. Anti was able to pick up a kill, and then we were a little out of it. A couple communication errors made some unforced errors happen, and we just sort of never really felt like we were in control of the game. We just fell out of it. So it feels good today, since we were all on the same page mostly. Feel like communication was a lot better, and pretty happy to see my teammates happy after a big win.
Let's talk about the draft going into this game. You, of course, were big ticket item this game on the Samira. But overall, Red pulling out the dark technology of the Dr. Mundo on the top side. Utility Monster coming in with the Kha'Zix being effective. You had Brian, of course, playing Nautilus, which is the ultimate in engage technology that isn't named Maokai for him. And then, of course, Civilok just with the TF, very active. What are your thoughts overall on this draft plan you folks had and what you ended up against?
Yeah, I think as a team we sort of decided that we're giving our players a few too many go buttons, and it's caused a lot of like miscommunication and just sort of a mess in comms where people aren't really sure what everyone else wants to be doing. So today we really limited the number of ways we had to get on top of them, mostly through either TF Gold card or Nautilus engages. And it really slowed down the pace of the game, let us stay in control, take the fights that we wanted to. And then Samir just kind of gets in there and one-shots the person that gets CC'd. So pretty solid draft. I think you can tell Utility Monster isn't able to spend half an hour on draft like he normally does this season, since he's started work. But we're making do, and I think we'll only improve as the season goes on.
Let's talk about a little bit about this game, especially as it led up to the end. You folks, as it were accelerating the game. You had dropped a stat for me that hopefully you'll be able to bring up about your wins and losses. But yeah, so towards the end of the game, you folks were of course accelerating, and then you went for that really fun, very kind of interesting rush for the Nexus that only ended up looking good because you were able to pop off there at the end. Talk to me a little bit about your folks' tempo in this game and getting ahead and getting this win.
Yeah, so our comp didn't really have a way to teamfight super effectively. Basically everyone on their team in a prolonged fight would outdamage our champions. So our fights had to be very decisive. If I need to Samira ulti twice in one team fight, we're probably losing. So all of our fights need to be very snappy, very, very committed. And that's something that I'm really happy that my team played, because if a target gets picked, everyone's hitting that target and we're just blowing people up. Talking about the stats you mentioned, so far this season in YUBI's wins, we still haven't dropped a turret. So either we win the game or we lose the turret. So if you want to beat us, just take a tower, and then there's no way we can win anymore.
That is the ultimate Achilles heel. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us for the interview. Before we step away, your opportunity for any final thoughts.
Yeah, thanks everyone on staff for putting this together. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the point system lately that is really productive, and it's great to read everyone else's opinions. Overall, shout outs to my teammates for putting up with each other these past few weeks. It's this season feels like a little bit of a mess for the last seasons. Feels like things aren't going our way, and there's a lot of uncontrollable stuff that's sort of limiting us from reaching our full potential. So really happy to get a win today, and we'll definitely look to improve and smash everyone soon.
All right, well, thanks so much for the interview. Congrats to YUBI. And folks, that's going to be it for game 1. We do have 2 more games on the books, so we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with game 2 coming up next.